and those reflections with a 2% tax. So we're moving that one step closer to a mass adoption.
Brilliant. Well, thanks very much, guys. Thanks for having me, and keep up the good work.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you, Wrench.
Cheers.
Game Dev, welcome.
What's going on? What's going on? So I have a couple ideas. But first, do we have like a clear timeline for the buy button itself, the direct buy for Safemoon?
No. It's still worked on. It's the same process of BNB as well to buy BNB. It's all in the process.
Okay.
It's regulatory, from my understanding, is what they're trying to
Right,
work
of course. Yeah. Okay. And as far as the reflection calculator, I think from a development standpoint, it could just be very basic, and you could just have the deposits plus purchases minus the total wallet balance, and then that will just leave you. Because as far as I know, the reflections don't count as a deposit in your
Yeah.
account, so that would just leave the remaining SafeMoon, and that would be your reflection calculator. Another thing, I don't know, I don't use other cryptos, but I think if we had the button on the calculator, you know how you can press the SafeMoon button and it will give you the SafeMoon price. When we list everything else, there should be simultaneously a button for each individual token or whatever, and you can just hold the SafeMoon button and it will bring up whichever else you have on your account or whatever that's in our ecosystem, let's say. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it. No, I understand. It's definitely something I can put forward. I'll make a note of that too. I know they've got a timeline of what they're trying to work on, but like you said today, they've been asking for features that the community wants, so I will definitely put that forward.
Sure.
In regards to the calculator, like I said, it should be as that simple as just buy, sell, take away, total supply, or total wallet supply, should I say. But it depends how they want to implement that, because if they do want to add things like, automatically sell and stuff like that, then it can get a little bit more complicated. But 100%, I will definitely forward that on to Ryan and let him look over that.
Do you know if they're, because I did a little bit of research, I saw that the Gambia previously had wind power feeding into the grid. So do you know if we're going to be on that site theoretically and just connect to whatever existing infrastructure is already on, set up there?
Right, just repeat that again for me.
Sure. So the Gambia previously had wind infrastructure powering part of the grid, and it failed due to corruption reasons with their local government at the time. Obviously, things have changed. I kind of did a video on this, but um, are we going to be then maybe using that site and maybe some of the existing hookups to the grid, et cetera, to when we do put our turbines down and connect directly to the grid because it is already existing infrastructure for that?
All I will say is if they are, in terms of, turning, then tokens are burning. And I will use that reference.
No, I get it.
Because that explains it the easiest way possible. So I would run with that if you're going to, because there's a lot more in terms of to come from Safemoon, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. And it's such a bigger project than what people think.
Yeah, no, I get it. I did research and I saw the power chain, what's capable. I'm not saying you guys are developing a power chain blockchain, but from what I see, it lines up relatively. As far as the 2% tax, right? Do we have a timeline on when that will be implemented?
That should just be with V2. As soon as
Okay,
V2 goes live, that should be in terms of implemented. So if you are one of those people that are looking to potentially, in the grand scheme of things, move to a brand new Safemoon wallet, and you are willing to pay a 10% tax, then you potentially may want to wait till 2% is implemented and then do it that way, so you're losing less. If that's something that you are, I know a lot of people have got different pots all over, and if you kind of want to move them to new wallets of Safemoon and do it that way, 2% is definitely the way forward than a 10% hit. So awesome. I would wait until that goes live with V2.
Yeah, I'm almost done. So when we send Safemoon out right now, right, it costs BNB as well, right? So
Yes, the fuel. Yes.
right. So at some point, I assume that's either going to be Safemoon, which I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if you can fuel your own transaction with Safemoon. Obviously, that's one way to do it. The other way to do it was the blockchain, right?
Yeah, so it's the blockchain specifically is what the fuel is connected to. So whatever
Right,
you're
what it's
operating
riding
on,
on.
yeah. So it's BNB for us, or if you're
Right,
on the P-Safe Moon, it's Ethereum and so
right.
forth.
So once the blockchain comes out, it's reasonable to assume that we'll be using the blockchain to as fuel for SafeMoon, right?
Yes, that should fundamentally be the way it works, but again, we don't know what they've got in store
For sure, for
for
sure.
the blockchain. So as we get closer, we can understand what implementation they're doing. Because again, something different, as John mentioned today, it's something different than proof of work or proof of stake.
Yeah, no.
So
I read a white paper made by Dell. Not saying that's what you guys are using, but I understand like relatively. Anyway, so last thing I want to jump on is the V2 and the exchanges. And so are we going to temporarily pause sales of V1 SafeMoon while we are we going to have a double listing? How is that going to work from existing exchanges that are interacting with the SafeMoon already? And pausing that while getting everyone acclimated to V2.
it's essentially in the grand scheme of things, it's all based off LP. It's all based off LP, and it's the way the LP pools work to obviously purchase the tokens and so forth. So in the grand scheme of things, this is where I said is that once they move the fundamental part of the LP over, then that's when the V1 tokens become V2. But it's how the implementation goes about for us to say that how it's going to run. Now they said it's going to run in line with each other, which is great because it gives people a chance the time to obviously move across. But essentially is that they're going to end up having a option where I presume that they're going to delist from something like PancakeSwap and move everything across so you can't buy. So then that stops adding to the LP pool, and then do it that way. But I don't know until we get to that launch because it's how they do it is what they obviously that technical side of things that they're still trying to work out.
Well, I love you guys. You guys are the best. I appreciate John and the Hound kind of really setting up the expectations properly and being really transparent, saying, hey, this is going to get delayed and here's why. I think that's exactly what people wanted to hear. And I just want to leave with like, in June, I was doing a thing for my job and there was like the 65-year-old man. And, you know, he was telling me he was into crypto and I name dropped SafeMoon and he's like, "Oh yeah, I want to buy that, but it's just, I'm waiting for an easier way to buy." And I think there's a lot of people who are in that segment, right? Where it's just they're waiting for a change and they're waiting for that easier jump into it. And the crazy part to me was just how old this dude was, right? We're not talking about Bitcoin. We're talking about SafeMoon and it's getting to that almost to that household name level. And I think that's a really like undervalued thing that people aren't really seeing right now. But I love you guys.
No, appreciate it. Thank you, Stephen Sam. Let's bring some more guys up and let's just keep rolling with these questions. Let's go on to.
While you're just bringing people up, Cats, I got a question for you from a fellow German boy. He just asked me, do you or Cats have any more updated news on when the burn will stop, especially now after the consolidation?
So I've always said that the burn isn't going to stop because essentially, the grand scheme of things in the long term, the burn is going to be so small that you aren't going to notice it, and it would take hundreds of years to completely burn down the process because as the smaller the cert in terms of the available supply, the harder it is to burn tokens. But the team could flat out implement a straight up cap. We're not burning anymore, which is possible. But I don't know. But personally, I go by the diminishing returns. The burn's never going to stop. That's my personal opinion, and it always has been. But that's the way that I feel it should go. Because if we're going to stay a deflationary token, and the way the math checks out, once we get to, if it does continue to burn the couple of 100 million tokens left, it's going to be really hard to burn a whole token. It's going to be really hard to get from 100 million to 20 million and then get from 20 million down to 2 million. If they keep the burn, it's possible, doesn't matter how long it takes, but it's possible. But it's, you're talking Bitcoin levels in terms of volume in order to hit anywhere near that way if you're trying to work out the mass on that. But that's the way I've always seen it. But they
Because
could just
people had this kind of estimation where they say that like after the 1 quadrillion there will be just a stop at about 1 trillion or 10 trillion, 100 trillion. Now they're trying to just break it down to 1 billion or less because there's a new consolidation. I just told the same thing that you just said, that it might never stop, but if they stop, they might find a very low cap where they're just gonna stop it because it, as you just said, the diminishing return will make it like obsolete in the end case when you just come there, because the token, like the amount of tokens you get from that would be so small that you wouldn't even notice or just actually consider. But I'm just on the same track as you are.
you could go by the fundamental thing is what is reason, because you've got to consider it as global adoption and helping the countries out like the Gambia and stuff like that. So could you see it going to a Bitcoin level, 10, 20, $30,000 a token, if we got to smaller numbers, a couple of million supply, would that be fundamentally useful for a country that isn't heavily inflated with the US dollar? You've got to put those into the factor too. So it really depends. And it really depends on how the team want to play that out. And you could have a conversation about who it benefits, why it benefits, and all that, But in the end, grand scheme of things, it's how quickly we get there and how easy it is to get to that point, because you're talking a couple of $1 billion volume to start pushing and burning mass amounts at those levels. But it's a good thought, and like I said, I'm personally against stopping the burn. But if they want to stop the burn because they want to stick to keeping the the price levels consistent within a set price for being a physical currency, then that's great. That works too. It just really depends on where you want to be.
Exactly.
But let's jump over. Jimmy Cash, welcome.
Hey, good afternoon. So I got wallet feature recommendation, and then I got not questions, but two kind of recommendations. One's related to the burn. My recommendation would be exactly your point, but actually would be a compromise, which is I agree with you that stopping the burn wouldn't necessarily be what I would consider a good idea, because then you immediately lose one of the main features why I bought the token, which is the deflationary aspect. Yes, the counter argument is it's always deflationary as long as there's more people in the world against this fixed supply. My recommendation would be a hybrid, which is you decrease the burn rate over time. So it sort of works like you're stopping the burn, but in a downward direction. And I know the number one reason why you want folks to stop the burn is because they want to see that immediate uptick in reflections. So I think my proposal would be more of a compromise where it slopes down, so folks are getting that increase in reflections that they think they're going to get if you stop the burn. My second recommendation is it's related to the whole Safemoon is the evolution. I think I get frustrated daily when I see where we're going, and yet a lot of us holders are still fixated on the old way of measuring token or project fundamentals. My suggestion would be that both the dev team and us need to make more conscious effort at looking at things such as like transactional blockchain volume. Too often I'm seeing folks getting depressed, seeing the pancake swap volume going down. And heck, we could see that pancake swap volume going down even further, yet see an uptick in Safemoon swap volume, uptick in Safemoon swap volume on the P Safemoon side, and an uptick in volume, from turbines. And folks are going to jump on there and be fixated with a low pancake swap volume. So I think I don't think it's hard to do. You just got to go off the burn wallet or the blockchain and reverse engineer that. And then my last wallet feature would be, I think I like how it's split apart, ETH and BSC, but I would love to have some section where you could show your total balance instead of having to go back and forth. That's all I have. Appreciate all you guys do.
I appreciate it. Just on that last one, where are you talking about? Where you seen the full balance again?
I'm saying on the wallet, you don't see the combined balance of your holdings. You only see the BSC balance if you have that selected, or the Ethereum balance selected. So you can't get an idea of your total wallet
Gotcha.
portfolio.
Right. Yeah. No, that's fine. I'll make a note of that. Yeah, because that's something I've noticed myself, and especially once they start, implementing more blockchains like Bitcoin and so forth, that can then start to get a bit chaotic with trying to work out what your total balance is. So, 100% on that one. In regards to your second question, sorry, I've lost track now. You'd have to just repeat the second one for me.
Yeah, they weren't questions. They were more feedback items. One was maybe having a concerted effort as a community to fixate more on transactional volume on the blockchain versus your traditional old school metrics like volume.
Yeah.
In other words, we love this S6 price spot, but a lot of folks are getting depressed seeing the PCS pancake spot volume low, and I'm just trying to remind folks there's more to it than just that pancake spot volume. Especially if we start to do these things that John alludes to. In other words, we could be burning a crap ton of tokens and someone will pop in going, oh my God, our pancake swap volume's low, and not really seeing the bigger picture. Like in my bigger picture, we're not about a token that's just being traded on an exchange. So I think we should start to move the community in ways where we start to look at metrics that support that notion. And then the first thing I was mentioning is a recommendation, which is maybe not a complete stopping of the burn, but a decrease in the burn rate. So that way you have a corresponding increase in reflections that folks are, that's why you see folks wanting to stop the burn, because they want to see that, immediate spike in burn wallet transferring over to everybody else. That's all I got.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So on the burn wallet, it's going to be hard for them in terms of the way that the token works right now with tokenomics, because it is the tokenomics, which is the 5% to all holders, which then obviously the burn wallet is taking a large portion of that. So to reduce the amount that they're actually burning, they would have to remove the burn wallet from the 5% and give it a flat rate and then decrease that over time themselves. So that's potentially something they could look at. But in terms of the way the tokenomics work, there wouldn't be a way to do that. But yeah, in stopping the burn wallet in general, it has pluses and pluses and negatives towards it. So it really depends on which way that they want to take it. But I could definitely potentially see something like that if it is that, we do hit insane volumes and then tokens are starting to burn at an exponential rate than what they planned. Potentially, they could do something like that. John's always said now from V2 onwards that they can implement and change features pretty quickly on the fly for the most part, and do upgrades more consistently when needed. So that's definitely a potential option. And then in regards to the volume, just them looking at like pancake swap and stuff like that, that's why I'm hoping they move all the LP. And that's why I want them to get rid of any other swaps and just have the Safemoon swap, because then all the LPs in one place, everyone's swapping in one place, and then that's the entire blockchain in terms of the total process. So that's why I would hope them to do, so you don't have to worry about looking at 5 different things and pancakes down, but then Safemoon swaps up, and then there could be another swap and they're up and down, and it does get confusing for people. Whereas if it's just in one place, I would prefer that. But yeah, 100%. I'll put your feedback on in regards to the features anyway, and getting them about the price and just mainly the homepage. Even just if they could change it so that it's your currency, your chosen currency on the homepage for the full balance. Even if it's like a tap, you could tap it between the cycle, the stars, and the current blockchain or something. Make it something simple like that. But I will forward that on nonetheless. Appreciate you, Jimmy Cash. Let's move on to George.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, you good?
I had a question for John, but I guess I'll just move on to the request for the wallet. I guess it'd be nice to see a feature that was like a savings account ability. I know somebody suggested with the burn, separating the burn, but having a savings account ability within the wallet would be a neat feature.
So with the savings feature, would you want it so that it's straight up automatically moving your reflections, or are you referring to something? I know like some of these apps where they move X amount every month move X amount to those saving pots and have it like a visual bank account. So have a bank account and then you have different tabs within your bank.
Yeah, so to speak.
Okay, I could definitely see that. Make that records. Okay, so straight up move in. So you want a multi-tab function for different things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't know how the reflections would fare on that. I guess that would be more complex programming, but
It's all visual though, isn't it? It doesn't
yeah,
have to physically move anywhere. They just have to make it visually be appealing to that. So you could set up 5 different tabs and set up moving X amount across every month visually, but when it comes to actually moving the funds in the back end on the blockchain, it's still just on one wallet. You don't need to move it between 4 or 5 different wallets. You just have one blockchain, one wallet, one address, but 5 different tabs that visually display based on the login credentials that the app has saved. So they're all saved locally and it's all visually locally saved on the device that you're using. So I potentially could see that. I don't know how from a technical standpoint if they could do that, but I will make a note of it nonetheless. And
yeah.
you can try it.
Like I said, the other question was for John, but it was more or less the legalities, just making sure that SafeMoon's not going to copy what Binance is doing for being banned in all these countries and provinces, for that matter.
No, in terms of regulatory side of things, they're going to be 100% compliant wherever they can be before they do anything. The thing is with Binance is they were ahead of regulations and there weren't regulations in place for them and all the other sort of big exchanges. They have only recently started to sort of fear crypto. The governments have only started to fear it and gone, okay, now we need to start paying this attention, which is why things have started to roll out over the last year. So they're going to be ahead of that, and they're going to look to continue to try and be 100% compliant where possible. Unfortunately, some places they may not be able to get a hold of in terms of the states or countries that they can trade in, but they'll always try and work with the local governments and local authorities to make sure that that happens. So they'll be ahead of that. But who knows? If John shoots up here in the next 30 minutes, hopefully you can ask that him directly and I'll bring you back up if needs be.
Excellent. Thank you for your time, guys.
Thanks, Delay. Let's have a look at some questions in chat and I'll bring some guys up while I'm at it. Let's see. We've got here. Okay, there's a few. Here's my question. I have a family that I help buy. I wasn't then or now, for that matter, comfortable using PancakeSwap, so they're still holding on Bitmart. When V2 releases, will they have time to send the tokens to the Safemoon wallet with the blockchain address before the gate? John mentioned is implemented because of a few of them have iPhones. He's just said the exchange that don't contribute to tokenomics. Just not sure if Bitmart is on that blacklist. So when the V2 launches, when it's ready to go, when it's live, you will have acknowledgement beforehand and there's no rush phase to get it done. So essentially, if it is that you're on an exchange and V2 is essentially blocked, you can move it to the blockchain, do the conversion process, and then have V2 that way. But you've got to also remember for exchanges or anything like that, the withdrawal fees are withdrawal dependent on the exchange, not the actual 10%. So I think did Bitmart ever go to 5 million? I think it was 5 million Safemoon, but don't quote me on that. Either way. But you'll have time. Oh, there you go. Still 1 mil. So yeah, you'll have time regardless to move. They're not just going to turn it off. Here's V1, here's V2 within 20 seconds. Like I said, they're going to run in coherent, and then that's it. And then there isn't anything else to worry about other than that. Yeah, 1 mil isn't considerable amount to a lot of people, but 1 mil is still a lot to some other people. So it really depends on your personal circumstances. Let's jump over to who we got up here. Elton. Hey there.
Well, I have some questions and some tips. My English isn't so good, but I will try my best.
Sure.
My first question is about blockchain. Why isn't in the roadmap?
So the blockchain is in the roadmap. It was just they were talking about physical features in terms of like exchange and the first part of the ecosystem on Binance. The blockchain is still coming. It's still on the roadmap. It's just what they were talking about today specifically. So it's still there. It hasn't gone anywhere, and it still will be coming as we get more closer towards the time frame that we were working towards, which was December. More information should come out, but they've got to now follow the progression path of wallet, V2, exchange, blockchain is a sort of progression path that they were working with.
Okay, with the V2, the 2%, you guys already know the radio of how much will be liquidity, how much will be born. You already have that radio or no?
I'm going to guess that it's going to be split. It's going to be 1% to LP and then 1% to all holders. That's my guess, but I'm not going to say that until I confirm the information. But that's the way that I would fundamentally see it working without breaking tokenomics. Is 1%, 1%, and then obviously that 1% is broken down to the sub amounts of however much that is.
Okay, thank you. Another one. John said something about that the 2% is from some transaction, not for buy and sell. Is that correct?
Yes. So V2 should be V2 buy and sells are still 10%, but when you are sending from wallet to wallet, it is 2%. So that means if it is a store, let's just say, I don't know, your local supermarket is allowing you now to pay your weekly shopping with Safemoon, you would only pay a 2% transaction fee on that instead of a 10%. Whereas if you're trying to use a swap to turn it to another currency or another token, then there's a 10% because you're leaving the ecosystem. If you stay within it, it's 2%.
That is a question, and I think will help a lot of people understand it. My next question is about how to use Safemoon daily. That is almost all my research in Safemoon. Another feature that I think that wallet have to have is made bills or recipe for the clients. Example, if I have a business and I have a bill to a client that is $10, maybe a feature that put my wallet, the amount for the client be more easy to pay. Only with a QR or something like that, they scan it and the transaction is made.
Right. So like a request feature for X amount. So let's just say you wanted to request 1 million Safemoon from your friend to pay for something. You would then create a QR code that would request 1 million Safemoon, and they would just scan it and it's done. And they pay straight away. Is that what I'm getting from that?
Exactly.
Okay, no, that's definitely something new that I've not got on my list. I'll definitely add it. It's definitely something to consider. It'll definitely make things easier for stores as well to just request an X amount in the same way that you would in the store.
Exactly. That will help a lot in daily uses.
Yeah, no problem. 1 sec. Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. That would definitely make things a lot easier for businesses to use Safemoon as an official currency within their store. So yeah, no, 100%. I'll see if that's definitely an option.
Okay.
Perfect.
The other one was for Ryan, but I don't get it in MAA. Is of Safemoon expansion. There is a lot of countries that can be helped with Safemoon in a lot of ways. If there is an option for Safemoon to expand, or or we members can help Safemoon expand in that way, how we can reach the team and talk about that ideas.
Okay, so you're talking in regards to like the expansion and how the community can help grow Safemoon in other countries. Is that right? Oh, hello.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Okay. I will ask Ryan the question, but I know that growth is within the plan in general is to reach out to more countries. But I will ask how the community can help out. But the biggest thing is just sharing the passion of Safemoon in general. Is just share what the overall project is about, and just share some of this. The general. What's the wording? There's a specific wording for when testimonials. So share some of the testimonials of how it's helped people and what it can do in the future. So that would be my advice, and if you're going to look to help. But I will definitely forward that to Ryan to see if he can give me an answer exactly to that question.
And sorry for my bad English.
Yeah, no problem. It's okay. It's not a problem at all. Let's move on to, I can't remember who was up. Is it Chris? We'll jump over to Chris first. You're first in order. We'll work across.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, you good? Oh, Chris, if you want to connect, and I'll bring you back up. We'll move over to Spy.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you good?
I had a question about the peer-to-peer feature on the app. I was wondering if there's going to be a cap on the total value that you can transfer over that, because I could see that being abused as like a selling to another person, just to avoid the 10% tax, to use the 2% tax if you knew the person in real life and you were going to sell them your whole wallet and they paid you through cash. I get it's like a Venmo type feature where you just pay and you're not receiving anything back, but I was just wondering if there's going to be a cap to the value amount.
There shouldn't really be a cap, because at the end of the day, if they ever want to leave doing ecosystem, they're still going to have to get hit with a 10%. So unless they are physically looking to spend the Safemoon in stores through mass adoption and so forth, if they want to turn it into anything else, they're still going to get hit with 10%. So regardless of anything like that, they're still going to have to pay to get out, essentially, in the grand scheme of things. But
is the peer-to-peer feature going to be it's used for like a friends group, right? Like a list of friends you have on the app whenever that comes out, to like hand them over 1 million Safemoon, let's say.
So it should be any wallet to wallet. So as long as it's a wallet to wallet and you're not going through a swap function, which again they would now look to have control with their own swap and so forth, is that would then be the case. So if you wanted to go to a store, you would send the store owners 10 million Safemoon. If you want to send to a friend, that's all 2%. Through a swap, 10%.
Yep, that was what I was getting at, the 2%. If I wanted to trade all my Safemoon to a friend of mine, let's say it was 10 billion or something, a very large dollar amount, I wanted to give it to them and they wanted to pay me cash in person.
Yep.
Is there ever going to be a cap to anything like that, to avoid people from mitigating the 10% fee?
No, at the end of the day, regardless, they're always contributing to the tokenomics and the ecosystem. So I wouldn't see a cap being necessary. It's something that if people want to look to abuse, then I wouldn't really call it abusing, because they're still contributing. And even if whoever they've sold that to is this, they're still going to get hit with that 10% regardless. So it's something you can't control, really. And even if if they wanted to talk about putting a cap, well, there's no reasonable way to stop them from sending.
Yeah, because they could do it over and over again. I got you.
Exactly.
Alrighty, thank you.
Appreciate it, Spy. Chris, we're back.
Yeah, Sorry, I flipped my phone and accidentally pushed myself out. How's the funding for your cats going?
I was waiting for this. No, we're doing well. We're doing well. It was actually unfortunate because we did get hit with another investigation by the local council. Unfortunately, we did get reported by neighbors. Just it is what it is. They're just not very nice neighbors, and it was done maliciously. But we're still working towards our goals in the same way Safemoon's working towards their goals, and we're still pushing through. So once we get reaching a goal, we can then start, bringing in more and more cats, and start rescuing more and more. That's the idea, is in the grand scheme of things to rescue as many as we can. But it is what it is, unfortunately.
Where could I find the link?
It should still be pinned. I don't think I took it down from before.
Okay, I haven't actually searched. I'm gonna search for it later. Okay, so to my questions. First off, I have a super scary login problem when using the wallet. Sometimes it's just unlocked. No biometrics, no password. I'm just in. Haven't lost anything ever, but it keeps repeating now and then. I don't have to do anything to log into my wallet. I'm just in.
Oh, sorry, you did cut out for me there.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sometimes logging into my wallet, I actually don't have to log in. I just have to open the app. I don't need to put in any biometrics or my password or anything. I'm just in. And it's quite scary to actually just be in the wallet without actually putting in anything to unlock it.
Let me take a note of that. What device are you using?
Oh, actually, I can confirm that. I've been taking notes on it, and I submitted one bug report on it. As far as I can tell, it's mostly a memory issue. Like your phone remembers all that and doesn't seem to understand that you've left and come back into the app. So security wise, it's just tied to your specific device.
Okay.
But I have seen it. I can confirm that it's done it for me too, and I have reported it. And I will also make a note to pass it along up to Ryan and them again.
Well, are you the same devices? What device do you have, both of you?
I'm on a Samsung Galaxy Note 10.
Hey, how about that? Okay, so maybe it's a Samsung Galaxy issue, but
okay, 10 plus to be really obvious.
Yes, same.
Yeah. Okay, maybe it's this device then. And also, could you pass on to Ryan or John or anyone? Could we get an actual report feature, like in the settings on the wallet, so we can actually go through in more official way than actually trying to get up on an AMA to like push an issue through? Feels like this is just taking up a really large amount of time for you guys and for John and Ryan to handle it personally.
So I know that they are building a customer service team. That's where the Utah building comes into play for that sort of thing, and I know that they're hopefully looking to build that team specifically for that role. But for now, I know there's an email. Let me try and find. I think it is just wallet@safemoon.ltd. Let me just double check. Yeah, so if you send an email to wallet@safemoon.ltd, that was where you report it. I know if you are a iOS right now, if you're an iOS user, you can report it straight through TestFlight, and you can simply just send feedback, include screenshots and stuff from there through that. And then hopefully once it's live, I will make a note of getting Ryan to see if even if he can just get it so it opens a blank email template to the right email address would be simple enough. Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, what a report feature, 100%.
Super. And last thing, this may have been explained really early on, but what happens to the BNB paired to the Safemoon in the Burn wallet? It's locked.
So the pairing within the Burn wallet is still within the LP. If I'm correct in saying that, I just need to think about which way I'm saying that. Yeah, because essentially as you're just removing the supply but keeping the cash value the same. Yeah, so it should, if I'm thinking about this right, because I'm trying to think about it in the right way, is yes, it should be that the BNB side of things is then in the LP, and they're just burning the tokens. So there is no actual BNB burn. It's just Safemoon burn. I'm just
All
trying
right.
to think about that.
Okay,
now.
thank you. That's all.
I appreciate that, Chris. Thank you. Will merchants have to pay a 10% fee for offloading their holdings? Yes. Essentially, yes, in the grand scheme of things, they will need to pay the 10% to change that from outside the ecosystem back to the US dollar and so forth. So they will have to pay that 10%. But at the same time, if you're using Safemoon as a business, if you are growing your overall portfolio, you're increasing your reflection amount, and then you're growing your bag that way. So, it's one of them. Would you want to offload your Safemoon, or would you want to just continuously bring Safemoon in and just keep earning those reflections? Let's bring one or two more up, and we're talking towards the hour, so we've got like 10-15 minutes left before we call it. But let's just bring on those questions. Let's bring up one or two more people. Hi, Cap.
Hello, good day. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you good?
Okay. I had a similar question to Chris with respect to the parent. We know that a part of the tax is submitted to the burn wallet, and a part goes back to the ecosystem, a small percentage.
Yep.
And it's sent as LP tokens. And for the LP tokens, it's paired with Safemoon and BNB, and those tokens are sent to the burn wallet. I was wondering the same question: is the BNB actually being sent, or is there any way that you all recover it compared to just directly sending Safemoon to the burn wallet?
So there's no BNB being sent to the burn wallet. It's just Safemoon that's being sent to the burn wallet. So to try and explain this in a way that I'm not confusing myself as well as you guys, is you've got the 10%. The 10% is split two ways, 5%, 5%. 5% is 2.5 LP and 2.5 BNB. So Safemoon and BNB. So that's both split 2.5, and that goes to the LP pool. And then the burn wallet is just taking 5% or whatever it is, 2.4% of the 5% and putting that straight into the burn wallet.
My question was bad. I was talking about swap by Safemoon. With the internal swap, it pairs it as the Safemoon swap LP, which is part BNB and part of Safemoon. I know about transfer. I was just asking about the swap by Safemoon, because if you look at the transactions, you see that Safemoon swap LPs are being submitted to the ecosystem and to the burn wallet.
Right. Sorry. Right. Okay. It's right. Safemoon swap. Okay. Right. So it's 0.25% of the transactions going through. So 0.17% is going to the LP. In the exact same way, it's pairing BNB to Safemoon. That's 0.5%. Sorry, 0.17% is that's where that goes. The buyback and burn is straight up buying Safemoon and sending it straight to the burn wallet. It's as if you were going to burn the Safemoon by sending it straight to the burn wallet. So there's no BNB going that way. And then you have the ecosystem, which is the pot of money which then Safemoon can use to use as business expenses. Is that what I was referring to? Have I hit that there? Have I explained that right? Or am I confusing myself again?
Kids. Quick.
Yes.
Galan of Ta put in a message out in the chat. He said, tell people they can message me with wallet issues. That is a fast track method since I'm working directly with Ryan and the devs. If I can confirm that there's a bug, I will go direct to them. It will go direct to them, sorry. If it's a known issue, I can troubleshoot it for them and help them solve it.
Sweet.
So,
Sweet.
everyone.
Yeah, no, if you got a issue, message Gallon of Tar, and he will try and forward that on. Actually, you've pinned the message too. Sweet. Did I answer your question there, Kat, or did I miss the nail there?
I'm not quite sure, but can I PM you after?
Yeah, sure. If I've not hit the nail, I'll try and deal with that in DMs and see if me writing it in text is better for you.
All right, thank you very much.
No problem. Thanks, Kat. Atomic Muffin, how are we doing?
Yes, I'm good, thanks. Okay, so my question is about the One Wallet. Is it possible for users to send funds to it?
If it is for whatever reason a person wanted to send Safemoon to the Burn wallet, yes, you can do that. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. But I would personally advise against it. Is at the end of the day, Safemoon's got fundamentals in place to burn tokens, so you don't need to send money away for the sake of trying to decrease the total supply.
Yeah, that was part of the question actually. But consider this: there's like 2.56 or 2.6 million users. If they all send like 1 million or something, one time, two time, whatever, it would decrease the supply somewhat.
The options
Just
there,
for-
if
Just for conceptual.
yeah, no, the options there if someone wants to do it. I know people have done it. That's entirely their decision to do so. But like I said, Safemoon is making an ecosystem that is going to dramatically increase burn. So you don't need to throw money into the burn wallet because it's the ecosystem is going to do that for you. So I would personally keep your bag. The size of your bag is the way it is and just continue to grow it instead of throwing it away.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. Thank you. I've got some questions in the chat, so let's quickly run through these. For the wallet feature, any thoughts on taking the wallet beyond crypto integration and integrating fiat direct deposit, swap and transfer with crypto within the wallet? Maybe some sort of routing IBAN protocol that would eliminate the need for wire, simplex, moonplay, and truly get rid of the need for banks. Well, funny enough, you should say that. If you do go onto the Safemoon app, if you've got it, I don't know if it's on Android, but I know it's on iOS. If you click buy, and then under that, you've got purchase via wire, and then there's a bank transfer tab. I don't know if that is the exact same scenario as what you've described there, but there is a bank transfer option within the app. So once that's live, I'm hoping that that is the same fundamentals of what you're saying there, but we have to wait and see how that is going to fully work. Let's move on to next one. Emery. John mentioned talking with exchanges in terms of partnerships. Would getting listed still be a thing? He briefly mentioned in the last AMA when talking about V2. So with V2, they have that blacklisting feature. They are able to blacklist exchanges that straight up just go on their own accord, buy their own Safemoon, put it into their own hot wallet, and then sell that on their own exchange. They can then block them from coming back. So let's just say exchange A, you buy 1 million Safemoon, and they are partnered with Safemoon. You on exchange A can freely move between the blockchain and that exchange. However, if they aren't partnered and they aren't, working with Safemoon, but they've gone on their own accord, but you're using their exchange on exchange B, you won't be able to come back to the blockchain because they've put a block on it. So you can't come back, and it's fundamentally stopping those exchanges from utilizing it that way. There's a few other ways they could also block it by preemptively blocking them also, but there's still ways around that. But that's the fundamental part, is stopping exchanges from just straight up listing us without partnership. Let's jump on to number 2. Ryan said we should be happy soon. When asked about a direct purchase of BNB, any word on the direct purchase of Safemoon, or is that all on wire? It's hard to buy, has to original catalyst, so using the wallet buy button as much as possible is huge. Yes. I don't know the time frame. I know they've been working on it for a while, but there are just things in play that they really need to get down to the T before they make sure it's 100%. And again, BNB is a little bit more of a task than Ethereum, just in the general aspect of it being Binance and more regulatory behind that sort of thing. Let's move over to the last few questions. Would like to know Safemoon's financial status as far as keeping operations going in the future, i.e. how many months of operations can they sustain without any more outside investment? That's a private business thing. I don't think they'll ever disclose that unless they became a public company. They are ultimately a private company. So that's down to their personal knowledge on that one. Last one, Crypto Newbie. I meant actually storage of fiat currency within the wallet, crypto and fiat side by side while the world switches to... Oh, right, okay. Interesting. It's possible, though it wouldn't then be stored on the wallet, or would it? I suppose... I don't know about that one. I don't know how that would fundamentally work. We'll have to double check on seeing how that's going to work, if that'll work straight up or not with being straight up on the wallet, or maybe that's going to be an exchange thing, because that's probably going to be more like an exchange thing in the grand scheme of things. Damn, I can't keep up with these questions. What's this one here? I said one more, but we're just going to finish up with these. How do we anticipate merchants wanting to accept Safemoon without taking on the 10% offload fee in their price while when using Safemoon? There is only a downside at the moment for corporations to hold crypto on their balance sheets in the US, as they have acknowledged profits and can't acknowledge losses on their crypto holdings. We would like to end up paying an effective 12% fee to use the Safemoon merchant. Okay, now that's an example with the US. Now let's talk, for example, countries like the UK. We have a 20% fee on all purchases. You know, there are countries that have upwards of 35% on all purchases, where then this could then look to negate those fees. So potentially, as you're balancing out across the global world of fees, which, you know, then removes 3 or 4 different issues. But I get what you're saying. It's potentially something in the future they could look to create their own purchase network as such. In this, it's in a similar way to the way Visa works. You know, is they use a system that knows that they're a merchant, and they become a registered merchant, and they potentially get a smaller fee for offloading. But that could lead to manipulation again with, you know, getting your friend to come in, make a 2% purchase with their entire balance, and then they withdraw it for, let's just say, a 5% fee. It could lead to issues like that. So there's a few different things, but I personally would just look at it as a global thing and say mass adoption. Why would you want to leave Safemoon if you're using it as a currency or as a growth? That's just my personal opinion on that. But yeah, no, I think we'll call it there. I've got a few things to write up now with all this information coming out. And I know that there's a lot of people got videos to make with everything that's been said today. So it'll be interesting to see people's thoughts on if they're, you know, if they're turning the burning. So we'll see what people come up with that based on what's already out there as well. But for today, that's been everything, guys. If you've got any questions, my DMs are always open as normal. Do you want to run a pod after show, Venno? Do you want to explain what's going on with...
Time-wise, it's been very difficult, and I like just merging it into what we've been doing, just chill and talk.
Do you want to explain about the candies and stuff? Because I've seen a few people get confused with that.
There is an event going on. If you can find either of the sanctuary channels floating around the Discord, there's a little candy emote that you can react to. That will allow you to participate in the event. Then you'll be able to find the how to play channel, and it will explain the 4 different armies. There's 3 main armies: aliens, pumpkins, and ghosts, and they're competing to win against the clown army. The clown army is created by infections. The other 3 you can join on your own. It's pretty well explained in there. People seem to have gotten a grasp of it pretty good. you can ask in main chat and other chats how the event goes. But I am tweaking it. I'm making sure that it's running properly. There'll be different phases, so it'll change throughout the month. But it's a very experimental process because I'm trying to see what works, what doesn't, what do people like about it, what do people not like about it. Because we're going to start doing a lot more different events in the future on the server, and this is the first big Discord event. So we're just trying this out and experimenting, and it will allow us to create much better and more fun events in the future.
Awesome. Can't wait for Christmas. Everyone around the tree.
Yes, I'm going to be inside of a present. I'm going to pop out and scare all of you.
Oh, please no.
No, because you're gonna do what they did on Elf. If you actually didn't know the movie Elf, when he's doing the little Jack in the boxes, he didn't actually know when they were gonna pop because the actual producer actually was pressing a button to pop them.
Cool
Just
story.
a fun fact. One of the many things of my weird mind. Anyway,
Don't worry, we love it.
anything to share? Anyone else got anything to share? Sanders, any news? No. Are we sharing anything this week?
No,
I
we're still.
saw someone saying what is the red logo. What was my response to it again? Before I say something else, let me have it
Somebody
pull up.
asked in chat.
Yes, indeed. So I said I would be able to answer it later on. So for now, we're still working on some process. Soon, let's say it like that. Soon. I really hope next week some more information, big information. Hope you all like that. So coming soon. Let's end up with that. Coming soon, yeah.
Another coming soon. Another coming
Oh,
soon.
yeah.
Mr. Adult, any words of wisdom before we finish? If he's there. I know he's
If
there,
he's
but he's
there.
not there.
Somebody really quick.
Make sure you have pet insurance. That's my advice.
Yeah.
He
One
told
guy
us
asked
it's
In
not a
and out,
goal.
as
really
you may
quick.
have seen, because all manner of things going on. My dog then managed to get his claw stuck in its ear, and now I've been kind of cotton wool in blood. It's not been the usual sit here and just enjoy the luxurious tones of cats in the same way that I normally would. But just want to say thank you to everyone. Venno, the amount of effort that you've put into having events start to run in this Discord and thinking about how we can have temporary roles and making things engaging, it's been wild seeing everyone really enjoy it. And then just looking at the audience each week, and I'm seeing so many familiar names, whether they are active in the chat or not, just rocking up. And it's so awesome seeing a front row and then a second row and then hundreds of rows of brilliant people who want to come and have a listen to what's going on. And not all asking questions, but the people who come up ask questions on their behalf. So thank you to everyone asking questions. Just lots of thanks, really. No, I haven't been drinking or anything. I'm just adding some words in at the end, but I'd want them to mean something because we're here for the community, and we're not always getting things perfect, but we're always trying to make things better. And that's very much what drives us. And having people write messages in DMs or in the chats or come up on the stage and say thank you for the different things that different people do, whether that's John and Ryan for the work they're doing, inform the community on the products. I think in quite a powerful way now. The Twitter spaces overall have been well received each time, and it feels like we're getting good information, and there's a nice level of transparency that people are enjoying. And it seems that the FUD has kind of changed in direct proportion to that, because there's fewer guesses having to happen. And I think we're all running alongside each other now at a similar pace instead of lots of people running 100 different directions and getting confused. And I think that's helping a lot. And a lot of that boils down, this is the long thread round, a lot of that boils down into work that Katz is doing and Gandalf does to consolidate all of that information. And Momo, everyone who's creating all these recaps and reports and highlights, I think it's really proving essential for the community to get a better grip on what's going on. And each week it feels like that gets refined and more punchy in a good way. So just, thank you to everyone who's contributing to all of that happening. And I'm really excited as we move into Christmas and beyond and holidays and everything else, because those first few months felt like an eternity, I think, to a lot of people. An exciting eternity, but an eternity nonetheless, because we're waiting to catch up with developments coming out the gate. But now those things are starting to show up. And we've had the adventures of Apple over the last week as well. But at least it's not silence now. You know, they are adventures. They're things that we're all going on together and getting visibility on. So I'm just super psyched for all of that. And having the news today about things like consolidation, I think that's helping a lot of people start to move their thinking forward as well. So yeah, well done for holding a great stage tonight. Sorry I was in and out. You know, that's not my normal route. And I think I have to say actually each week as
Your
well.
puppy's
So.
all right.
Yeah, he's all right. I'm just watching now. I think I've stopped the worst of it. He's in for surgery on Friday to have the front of his jaw cut off as well. So he's having a great old time. But he is 13, so.
What do you mean the front jaw? Wait,
He's
what?
got a little growth that's been pushing his teeth out the way, so they want to get rid of it early. So it means he's going to have a little gap in his teeth at the bottom. I'll put a picture up when it's done. It'll be hilarious.
I was about to say he's going to lose, like, he's just going to have, like, one
Oh, no, he's not
bottom
gonna
of
be
his
like Resident
jaw
Evil
gone.
dog or anything.
Oh,
Nothing like that.
okay.
It would be good for Halloween, but no. Oh, and one other little sneak peek. I may or may not be making a Halloween mix in honor of Halogen and Venno.
So you're saying tune into the music channel?
Making a music video to go with it, but I don't know if I'll have time for that. So don't get your hopes up.
Damn, I thought you would start your karaoke now.
No. I could sing a Nightmare Before Christmas song, I suppose.
Is it a Halloween song or is it a Christmas song?
Well, it's a Halloween playlist. The Nightmare Before Christmas itself is very much a Christmas movie.
See, but I always said that, but my sister always argues different, and it's a Halloween movie.
You can
Just
watch
lead-
them at both times because it's kind of like a 50-50. So I would argue it's acceptable in both. Much like Die Hard, you can watch it any time of the year, but it is a Christmas movie.
No, it's not.
And on that bombshell.
Yeah, and on that note, next week there will be a guest, a completely never been up here before, to my knowledge. No, I think he may have just been here but never actually spoken. If he can make it. If not, we'll try and find alternative guests. But moving forward, beyond the Mooncasts following Safemoon Sundays, Mooncast will be moving to more of a Q&A style to whoever the guest speaker may be, and sort of tuning down to more podcast style. So hopefully that guest speaker can come up. I know that they've been wanting to kind of promote the products that they're working on. So hopefully that gives you a bit of teaser who it may be. But yeah, that's it from me, guys. That's it from this, episode 9 of Mooncast. So we will see you guys next week, same time, 8 p.m. BST, 3 p.m. EST. And yeah, hopefully we'll be visited by a new member of the Mooncast show. But catch you guys later.
My twin brother Bino. All right, no music out. We'll just low key sneak out the door. So have a good week, everybody. Have a good rest of your Sunday, and we will see you next week.
Bye bye. Just make the outro.
Let's outro sing as I hit the end button. Da-da-da, da-da. See you guys.
Have a cool.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.